Oni through Patanjali Yoga System, Yoga Sutra, and you are very acquainted with Dr. Srinivasan. Dr. Srinivasan is an ardent resource scholar of philosophy, and he is also an eminent orator. Dr. Srinivasan is still trying to understand philosophical reflection of Sankhya and the Yoga system. Being a renowned research scholar, he has participated and delivered a number of speeches on Trigonauts, Yoga, and value education at Institute of Advanced Study in Shimla. Being a renowned orator, he has motivated and inspired thousands number of scholars of our country. He has also taken initiative to organize ICPA seminars in South and made it popular. Dr. Srinivasan has also written many articles on various subjects. You can find his articles if you open YouTube and Google. This number of students have viewed and have been benefited out of it. Today, you will be pleased to know that today the first speaker, Madam Durga, and the second speaker, Dr. Srinivasan, are related to each other. Dr. Srinivasan is the father of Madam Durga. Today, we have invited the daughter and the father to the academic platform of Philosophy Family. And today, I have already announced that today is the marriage anniversary of Madam Durga. On behalf of Philosophy Family, we convey our regards, we convey our congrats and best wishes to Madam Durga. Today, after the completion of her lecture program, she will go to temple with her family. I again offer my congrats to Madam Durga, and with this, once again, I convey my regard to all the senior teachers of philosophy and other subjects to be with us, to be connected with this unique virtual program of Philosophy Family of the country. I convey my welcome to Professor Pramod Kumar Das, who has taken a lot of initiative to invite the eminent scholars of our country to this platform, and he has taken initiative to continue the program throughout the year. And you know that more than 200 webinars have been conducted during the pandemic. We must offer our gratitude to Professor Pramod Kumar Das for this initiative, for this pain. Today, I also welcome our moderator, Dr. K. Omnan Rao. Today, he will moderate the interactive session. And after the talk of each lecture, we will conduct the interactive session for 15 minutes. Today, I again convey my regards to all the teachers and scholars of philosophy to be connected with us. Then, by offering my best wishes and congratulations to Madam Durga, I welcome Madam Durga to commence her speech. Over to Madam Durga.
The moderator, Mr. Dr. Om Narayana Rao, and admin, Professor Dr. Pramod Kumar Das. Thank you very much for the excellent opportunity extended to me, this philosophy family. And I'm very happy to see excellent intellectuals, professors, scholars, academicians, and students, and most importantly, Tabas Yogashala students also have assembled here. My humble pronouns to each and every one of them. And this evening, I'm going to speak about social harmony through Patanjali Yoga Sutra. In my perception, it is a very big subject. Cannot be, handled within a course of an hour or so. It is such a wide subject. It needs focusing, attention, and concentration as we do yoga also. The question here is, there are 4 parts in this title. The first one is social harmony. The second one is about Patanjali Maharishi. The third one is about yoga. What is yoga? And the fourth one is sutra. So I have to define all these 4. Then only it will be very nice to understand and proceed along with me. Before that, I invoke the prayer on Patanjali Maharishi. Yogena chittasya padena vacham malam sarirasya cha vaidyakena yopam karotam pravaram muninam Patanjalim pragyalir anatosmi. I bow down to the sage Maharishi who has provided yoga to the humanity, and to the same Maharishi who has provided Vyakarana to Panini's Ashtadhyayi, and also Patanjali Maharishi has provided Ayurveda in the form of Charaka Samhita, and I bow down and offer my humble pronouns and prayers, and with the wish that Patanjali Maharishi will bless us all of us here. So the first topic that session I am going to talk about this is about social harmony. What is social harmony? Social harmony can be defined as a procedure of assessment, articulate and encourage trust, admiration, peace, harmony, respect, generosity, and equity, equanimity, fraternity, and compassion. This is what the interpretation for the social harmony stands for. And most importantly, the need of the hour is social harmony. But thinking on the subject, we have to contemplate really whether we have social harmony across this universe. You all know there are around 7 billion people living in this world in 196 countries with different races, religion, caste, color, creed, power, and knowledge, language, culture, tradition, etc. But do we think that social harmony can be purchased across from a mall or from Swiggy or Zomato? It is not possible, because it is an actual involvement of individual persons collectively moving together socially and harmoniously. But do we have this harmonious situation across this world? I would certainly say 50-50, because out of the 196 countries, you will be shocked and dismayed when I say that only 4 countries are living harmoniously in social harmony. They are Scandinavia, Sweden, Australia, and Canada. These are the 4 countries in which you find social harmony. But the other question that you may ask is, then how about the other countries? The other countries are differently ruled with a different processes. For instance, in America, we call it as libertarian society. That is freedom for all, in the sense that there is a competitive edge over others, and everything is controlled and privatized. That is libertarian economy and democracy. In the case of Europe, it is about European democracy. European democracy is not 100% true. They are capitalist oriented also. 50% on the poor farmers and other agriculturists and so on, and the society as well. The third one is most unimaginable, is the authoritative democracy like Russia. Russia, you cannot, ask for anything. So the democracy is controlled democracy. In China is dictatorial rule. There also you don't find people, they are living in harmonious situation. So in India, we are following that socio-democracy system. We have diversified culture. We have many languages. We have different castes, different states, different languages, and different people, both ethnic as well as modern and ultra-modern people also congregating together. I would say moderately social harmony is practiced in social democracy of India. So the other question is, what creates social harmony? Absence of conflict, violence, terrorism, and people cooperating essentially with each other. One of the components of social harmony is the basis of democracy, which has to be underlined. If we don't have democracy, then naturally you would find the chaos existing in South African countries like Rwanda, Sudan, and Namibia, and other North African countries. Unfortunately, in India, we are very lucky, despite the fact that we have 27 different states with the 7 union territories. Recently, Kashmir and Ladakh has been added. And with 130 crores of people living peacefully in their own about 100% true. There are certain, impediments, or I would say there are certain difficulties in maintaining all this, society as a group. One of the main components of social harmony is the democracy, as I said, and the rule of law and fairness and justice for all. This is the crux of the subject. Fairness and justice is required in the society where we practice social harmony, whether it is a society of different people moving together. How can we bring social harmony? Is it possible to purchase? Absolutely not. We have to practice it by connecting with the friends, family, relatives, and then society as well. Forgot to say about the neighbors. Do we really have the spirit to understand the nature of neighbors living in our, in our society or in our place where we are living? Unfortunately, there is a saying, fences make good neighbors. So we make fences. The question is whether we have to break the fence and then move together with them, or keep the fence and then proceed individually. The individual means the social harmony will not be able to survive. So we will have to move with all the people, whether it is neighbor or a relative or a friend or a family. So social harmony, the essential aspect of maintaining social harmony is to move with all the people. That is the, interesting point. How can we bring social family with the friends and other neighbors, focusing on dealing with any disharmony in your life in a generous, compassionate way, and giving back to people in your community. Make sure you are able to maintain your personal sense of harmony, as this will help you feel cinch with others. So this kind of harmony is very essential. What are the 6 ways to maintain social harmony? There are a number of ways by which we can just maintain social harmony. The most important ways that has been indicated to maintain social harmony in a country or in a place where we live or in a society, a diversified society, you have to open up friends and family first. I underline the word friends and family. As you all move together, I know the Yogashala students, Tapas Yogashala students, they maintain a cordial relationship, a wonderful understanding, and they move in a wonderful place harmoniously within their society. So that kind of society, that kind of relationship, that kind of friendliness is required to maintain social harmony and overcome disagreements and differences. Maintain your social harmony, connect with neighbors, and give back to your society. These are the essential causes for maintaining, developing social harmony in your place of living. And next, what will happen if we are not able to move harmoniously? Where is the defect? What is essentially required? Do we care about our mind? I would certainly say no. We never bothered about our own mind or the minds of the people or minds of the country. So this creates a kind of sorrow and agitation in all the minds of the people. And this in turn is reflected in the society as well. If the society is peaceful, means people are living peacefully in that particular area or the country or the state or whatever it might be. If they are very happy, that means the society, the people are also very happy. The government is able to take care of them, provide 100% of their, fulfill their aspirations and make them comfortable for their, living. In the present times, we give much importance to our body. Is it right? And that is why Tapas Yogashala has come up. If we are not giving importance for the body, then there is no need for Yogashalas in the country. We give importance for the body. That is very essential because we give much importance to our body. We seek tasty, delicious delicacies and comforts and good physical appearance, which is first and foremost. Are we not expecting our own body to have a fitness? It's a kind of fitness regimen the yoga is providing, and we would like to have a very good appearance, not a flabby or a shabby kind of person. So we want delicious food, comforts, and good physical appearance, and to our intellect, gathering of securing knowledge, and we are in pursuit of acquiring many academic degrees also. This is also another innate desire of each and every person. I should get all these certificates, all these degrees, and become a great man, a great professor, or a great administrator, or a great official, something like that, to carry on our job and live happily and harmoniously. Mind, oftentimes, we neglect to a great extent. Why should we neglect? According to Vedanta, mind is the seat of emotion. We seem to pay attention to the mind when we are going through emotional crisis, when we are told by someone that our problem is a psychological one. We do not understand the cause of our problems, which is why there is much depression, stress at the individual level. And in order to eliminate this stress and depression, we seek the guidance of the yoga certified teachers to avoid all these things in our personal life at the individual level and conflict at every level, whether it is societal, national, or international. We see that these conflicts are born out of our own likes and dislikes. That is, we have our own raga dvesha, likes and dislikes. And then passions. We have hatred, jealousy, enmity, and prejudices. These are the things that spoil the people to live harmoniously. If we eliminate, then naturally it will pave way for a harmonious situation where we can live happily together. War and strife exist because we are unable to tolerate a different race, a different color, a different religion, or a different political ideology. So there is a conflict. This conflict has to be solved. Unless and until we solve all these problems by discussing across the table, inter-religiously, or politically, or economically, or globally, then only we can have social harmony flourishing in our world. Leaders who have a great deal of knowledge, but not enough purity of mind, often misuse or abuse of their powers. And that is the reason we get all kind of hooliganism, terrorism, and absolute chaotic condition existing in almost all parts of the countries in the world. And that is the reason why I said there are only 4 countries in the world who are really living harmoniously. Leaders, whether without a purity of mind, power becomes tyrannical. So, whether a country is democratic, dictatorial, or has any other form of government, purity of thought of its leaders play a vital role in bringing social harmony among its citizens. We may gain physical, financial, political, intellectual, and powers, but how many of us use our power for the welfare of the society, for harmonious living? It is a big question mark. Vast amount of sorrow is created in the society, not by the poor. I underline the word, vast amount of sorrow is created in the society, not by the poor. Am I audible there? Hello?
Yes, audible, sir. Audible, sir. Audible, sir.
But, my network connection is very slow and I have lost my connection. And I think I can proceed with this audio anyway. Hello, are you able to hear me? Is it audible?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The uneducated, but the so-called intelligentsia, not by the powerless, but by the powerful persons in the society. Jungle law prevails. The world is ruined by banana democracy. There is nothing wrong in having money, education, power.
Sir, disconnected perhaps. Sir, Professor Srinivasan? Professor Srinivasan, are you disconnected?
I think he has lost his connection.
Yes. You have to bear with it. Professor Sebastian.
Please unmute. Sir, please unmute, sir. Unmute yourself, sir. Professor Srinivas.
Okay, now I unmuted. Okay. There's a problem in the network, as I told you in the earlier beginning itself. Yes. Now, having said about the mind, now let us see how yoga can alleviate the problems of the common people, thereby these citizens are able to live harmoniously in a society. Now let us see, before telling Yoga Sutra, Patanjali Yoga Sutra, I am not going to speak about the biography of Patanjali Maharishi, who belongs to 250 BCE. I am not going to discuss about the entire history of Patanjali Maharishi. It is a very big subject. You can just Google search and find out Patanjali. You will get about some 1 lakh definitions for the same Patanjali Maharishi. So I think it is better I skip over and then go to. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, audible. Continue.
Okay. One moment. Patanjali Maharishi has compiled this Yoga Sutra in 4 chapters of 196 aphorisms or verses or sutras. What is the meaning of a sutra? Alpaksham asangdiktam sarva saravat visvathomukam astobam anavadyam cha Sutram Sutra Vido Viduhu, spare in its letters, unequivocal, constant, never changing, universal, without digressions, and pertinently worded. That is what those acquainted with these aphorisms often say about them. So we can understand the meaning of a sutra. Now, you have to get the definition of yoga. Yoga is yujjate, yunakti, in the verb form. Has numerous meanings, of which first is the binding or union of the body, mind, and soul. This is rather a very mundane explanation. Then what is the best explanation that we can offer for the term yoga? As per Maharishi Sri Krishnananda of Divine Life Society says that yoga is a mokshobhaya, which means the soul finding and merging with the universal consciousness called Satchit Ananda, bliss, absolute bliss, which is Kaivalya or Moksha. Lord Sri Krishna in Srimad Bhagavad Gita has used the term yoga nearly 108 times. All these titles in all the 18 chapters are ending with the word yoga. In the second chapter of 48th verse, Lord Sri Krishna says to Arjuna, Yogastha Guru Karmani Sangam Jaktva Dhananjaya Siddha Siddhayo Samo Bhutva Samatvam Yoga Yuchade. That means, as a yogin, you have to practice the equanimity of mind, which is called yoga. In Yoga Vasishtam, Sage Vasishta teaches to Lord Sri Rama about yoga. इति श्री वसिष्ठ महारामायणे वाल्मीकिये योग मोक्षोपाये sorry Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Sri Krishnarjuna Samvade is yoga. In all the 18 chapters of the 700 slokas, divided into 3 major chapters, they are dealing with the knowledge, action, and love in 3 subdivisions of 6 chapters each. In Vedanta, yoga is summarized as Uttishtaha Jakradaha, Prapyavaran Nibhodadaha, that is, rise, awake, and die not until you reach the goal. The other Vedantic sloka is about yoga is Baro Vivekinaga Sastram Baro Jnanam Raginaha Asandasya Manobaro Baro Atattva Vidam Babuhu. Both Vasishta Vairagya Prakaranam and Srimad Bhagavad Gita Vishada Yogam are same, and Mahavakyas, that is, for a recluse, the mind is a dead weight. That is what it says in that sloka. And Mahavakyas are Tattvamasi, I am that, you are that, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. This is what is interpreted as yoga. But what is yoga? Everyone by now has heard of yoga. The well-known modern interpretation is the mundane union, as I have said already. Bhagavad Gita also discusses a number of practices that have been termed yoga in popular literature, like Karma Yoga, Buddhi Yoga, the path of action, Jnana Yoga, the Sankhya Yoga, the path of knowledge, and Bhakti Yoga, the path of devotion, and Dhyana Yoga, the path of silent meditation, and other varieties such as Tantra Yoga, Power Yoga, Siddha Yoga, Nada Yoga, and there are so many other yogas, are interpreted, are now common in alternative spiritualities in the West. There are 884 references to yoga in the Mahabharata, and the common denomination of all the epic definitions of yoga is disciplined activity, earnest striving by active, not rationalistic or intellectual means, rather than the more popular translation and cognate union. Yoga seeks the vision of Atman, the Upanishadic term for Purusha, through practice and mind control, and Sankhya through knowledge and intellect. Otherwise, the knowers of the truth see that Sankhya and Yoga are one and the same. This is reflecting in Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 12, 304, subchapter and 4th verse. Yoga is an action-oriented practice. Some behold it, the Atman, the self, by dhyana, meditation, and others by Sankhya. Nowhere in any epics, Vedanta Upanishads, and Mahabharata that these two approaches constitute different schools or metaphysical systems. Sankhya and Yoga can be seen in early resources for well over a millennium, including Patanjali's time of writing as well as that of Vyasa's. The first and primary commentator of Yoga Sutra in the 5th century, Vyasa says, Sri Patanjala Sankhya Pravachana Yoga, Yoga Shastre, Patanjala Yoga, an exposition on Sankhya. The term yoga comes from the root yuj, which means to join. Similarly, spiritually, it is a process by which the identity of the Jivatma and Paramatma is realized by the yogin. Yoga means union with the Lord. Yoga is the divine science which disentangles
Again, connection is lost. Oh, okay.
Phenomenal and links with our you.
Not clearly audible, sir. Not clearly audible, sir.
Professor has said that India is not in that list. Only few countries, only 4 countries. Oh, it's a very small figure. A lot has to be done. And the definition that Professor has pointed out, that we have to open up, we need to have a feeling of oneness with others. We need to overcome the differences. So we need to be tolerant. We should come above our own likes and dislikes in order to be with the society, with the people around. And we need to go beyond, say, the own individual passions and prejudices. We have to come. We have to overcome a lot of things. And there is a great need of a sort of mental control. It's a control over the mind, so that there is a focus on the society. Well, this is the part which is quite clear, but how yoga, Patanjali's Yoga Sutra can establish a sort of social harmony that Professor Srinivasan was talking of, that part was not clear. But one thing I can say from what he has said, that if one can find himself in the society, if somebody identifies himself with the society, if he sees the pain in the society as his own pain, then maybe this Patanjali's Yoga Sutra would make some sense. Otherwise, the spiritual side of, say, defining yoga as the union of the self with the super self, so that sort of definition would not work here, I don't think. But if you're talking of the social harmony, then we have to come up with a supposition, with an assumption that we need to be lost in the society. At least what Professor Srinivasan was trying to point out, that if you are having peace with your neighbors, with your friends, with your relatives, and with your own family members, that much is, if you are assured with that much, then we are having peace with society, we are having peace with Well, Professor, back, well, sir, welcome.
Am I audible now?
Welcome, sir, welcome. Audible, sir.
Okay, because the network problem in the Android as well as the laptop, what can I do for that? It is really something I expected. Anyway, in Patanjali Yoga, as I said earlier, am I audible now? Hello?
Disturbing but manageable. Voice is breaking up but still manageable. Carry on, sir.
Okay. There are really, I mean, as per my perception, there are 22
Professor Srinivasan, because you are having a network issue, just tell us, you spoke of social harmony, you spoke of the definitions, just tell us how Patanjali's Yoga Sutra is able to establish social harmony. 2-3 lines, that would be enough for all of us, I think. Yes. How do you establish that connectivity?
No, he is audible, sir. Sir, Dr. Rao.
Sir.
Dr. Rao.
Sir, he is not audible, sir.
Not audible, sir. We should allow Dr. Durga Madam. To present to present conclusion also. Should we request Professor Srinivasan to not audible, sir. Not audible. Conclusion. It's not audible.
But I am able to hear you all. Here.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Sir. Okay, sir. Srinivasan, Professor Srinivasan, just in 2-3 lines, just tell us the connectivity. How do you connect Yoga Sutra with social harmony? How do you ensure social harmony through Patanjali's yoga? Just in 2-3 lines, sir. Because of the issue, connectivity issue.
Yes. See,
Sir, move to a place where you feel that connectivity is more. Just move to a place outside your house. I mean, to the veranda or something like that, so that the connectivity would be fine. Okay, sir. You will.